Hi guys, Senator Charlotte here, founder and executive producer of International Black Burlesque Company. I am coming to you really early in the morning, not done up to the guys, but you guys will be okay. I've been busy, that's why I haven't been on my personal channel. And, I've been working on shows, a crowdfunding campaign, it's particularly Hubcaps and Taillights. That's May 30th at the Hot Cat. So be there or be square. And working on a What You Got workshop that is, in 2 days. So a lot of stress. But anyway, I'm not done up to the gods and you guys will be okay. This video is about depression. So let's get straight to it. I think depression has potential to be in everybody. It's particularly an issue for women and people of color. Women, because there's so many triggers around: street harassment, rape, domestic abuse, all sorts of things that can trigger depression. And that's what you want to protect yourself from, the triggers, because depression is it's a common thing. It's a common thing across the board. Everybody has the potential. I believe everybody has the potential to be clinically depressed. It's all about what your environment is and how it's what you're around. And clinically, of course, it's genetics. Oh, it's cold in the day. I'm getting sick. I'm always sick though. Probably because I'm stressed, which also causes depression. Whoop. Oh, my boobie is popping out and shit. Okay. Specifically, yes, there's triggers for women of color. And the reason why I mention being a person of color is and why people are, so enraged now. It's like it's almost impossible to escape, to me, as a person of color, whether you're being harassed by police, whether you have to deal with people's racist microaggressions every day, whether, you know what I mean? It's that James Baldwin quote. You got to walk around like if you got any bit of sense, you're just mad all the fucking time. And I think that we have different levels of evading the fact that as people of color, that there is mental distress, because it's a survival mechanism and everybody survives differently. But we do need to talk about psychoanalysis and things like that, because I don't find that when you read like the psychological journals and stuff like that, they're not really prevalent to people of color. And it's very important to look at it from a person of color's perspective, of how you're raised, different cultural, you have to take into that in consideration. So by all means, do your research, and now don't discount the psychological journals and everything that's out there, but put it into perspective. Go saying being enraged all the time, we have different levels. One is being enraged all the time, which that's me. And then you get sad. I think every time you're depressed, you get sad. And one that particularly annoys me, but I understand, is this, what Ben and I call riding your bike through the park, living your life like it's golden, everything's honey and brown sugar, and you know what I mean? That has its benefits, but it also has its pitfalls, because you tend to evade the fact that there is a problem, and then it's only when the problem gets to the forefront when your heart hurts. You know what I mean? And you don't know what to do for your sons and daughters and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And I totally understand that sentiment, but that's just, not me. And I'm talking about from my perspective. Take this with a grain of salt, It's common. It can manifest through the triggers, the, assault, officer harassment, stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be dramatic. I know that in the burlesque community, somebody will post like, oh God, I feel like shit today. It doesn't always call, for me at least, it doesn't always call for sending positive vibes and shit like that. It's sometimes I want to be enraged. It's a it's a comfortable feeling for me. It is not healthy to be enraged all the time, but sometimes rage is just the right emotion for you to feel. And I think it's important that, along going with that evasion stuff like that, where it's like, cheer up, feel positive, this, that, and the third. Sometimes you just need to go through that depression, and it's particularly annoying for me because I'm like, don't tell me to cheer up because it's inconvenient for you. Just get out of my face. Get away from me. You know what I mean? I don't need, for me particular, and I think that this is across the board, especially with people with depression, don't offer anything unless they ask for it, because you don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where anything is coming from. So the best thing that you can do if you know somebody who's depressed or going through depression is listen. Listen, and they might tell you what they need, or they might have just needed you to listen. They need space, we need space to feel that. We need space to feel like I'm enraged about police brutality, things like that. And for me personally, this is all coming from experiences of going to the therapist, feeling suicidal, things like that. Julesy has inspired a lot of these videos that I'm going to do. And they're not gonna be kind of responses, but I remember she did a video of depression and things like that, and I had just finished watching her, and she, talked about her experiences with anxiety and stuff like that, and I really did relate with her and with her Smart Brown Girls movement. So I'm gonna get a t-shirt, and I'm gonna rep that every time I'm on, because I like to represent strong women of color, strong women in general, and I like to push them on. But yeah, she did a video on how she either goes to the therapist or other things about taking medication. I don't really recall her saying that she does, but that's neither here nor there. She just had a frank conversation about depression, and I'm just doing my part to keep it going and sharing my experiences with anxiety and depression and being as intelligent as I am. One of my triggers I will share that I really hate is that I am young, and I'm a younger producer, or I'm a younger artist and things like that. And I'm also very highly intelligent. So one of the things that happens is that people somehow have this bully nerd mentality, whereas if you see that I have an ability, and like a lot of people when they say we should partner, which is one of the reasons why I guard myself with partnering, and I don't want to talk to people and stuff like that, is a lot of the time, from my experience with being intelligent and openly intelligent, is people are like, let's partner, aka Senator Charlotte does all the work. And I block myself off from good things, good partnerships that can happen, and I block myself off from bad partnerships that can happen. I can recognize that it is unhealthy that I do that, and that there needs to be a better way, but in the meantime, I feel like you're guilty until proven innocent with that. And not to go into that so much, but what I'm getting at is that fighting stuff like that off every day, and everybody has their own brand of what they're fighting off. Fighting stuff off like that every day, like in microaggressions, adds up, and it gets bogged down, and you get depressed. Like I said, I went into hospital because I tried to commit suicide. Yep, tried to commit suicide. Yeah, I did. Because particularly my brand of depression makes me feel like I'm useless unless I'm constantly producing for people. And where my fault is being anxious to please. It also has to do with how I was raised. It also has to do with how I'm treated, and how you're treated is about how you're acting. So you know, right now I'm going to a therapist to see where all of those puzzles fit, organize the thing, you know, and do it. You know what I'm saying? It's very important, if you have a mental disorder, to know about it so that you can treat it. She said, you know, I've been going around thinking that, you know, I'm not shit because I can't focus on things and produce things well. And come to find out, she's like, you sound like you have ADD. And I'm like, I'm going through my life, you know, all day, every day. Of course, my dad, you know, raised me, and he's like, ADHD is not real. It's a made-up disease and blah, 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 blah. But I'm sitting here going around thinking, you know, I'm just not shit. I just can't focus on shit. You know what I mean? And that was depressing. And something as simple as going to sleep at the right time, something as simple as, you know, something as simple as going to sleep at the right time can curb your depression. Something as simple as knowing you have ADHD, and knowing, like, even not even taking medication, knowing, like, okay, you might need to write lists and stuff like that, instead of going through all of the bullshit that comes with it. You know what I mean? And the depression and the stress and anxiety about why do I feel inadequate and things like that. That's, you know, it's about taking care of yourself, and it's really hard to take care of yourself when you're depressed. But if you're depressed out there, hang in there. You're not the only one going through it. I know plenty of people who are depressed, who are still awesome people. You're still awesome. I'm still awesome. And yeah, that's about it. Ciao.